Hello, epic viewers from on the multiverse. Prepare to indulge in experiencing sheer bliss, because today another Rune Captaining Stellar unboxing video is about to be brought to fruition. What item might be unboxing? What item might be opening? Without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to elicit the box. What item is encompassed inside this walking hefty tangible nifty box? Let's find out. I'm going to demystify the answer to that inquiry right here, right now, so bear with me. It will only take me billions of picoseconds to extract the item from the box and subsequently flaunt it in front of the camera for you to feast your glorious eyes on. Here we go, the unboxing process is about to commence. It is officially underway. What item have I elicited? What item have I drawn forth? What item have I prompted? What is the moniker of this character? Well, this character is known by the moniker of Buster Blader. Is this action figure a paradigm of perfection? Is he the epitome of resigning perfection? Is he the embodiment of perfection? Let's find out. That's subjective. You could assess this figurine's merits down in the nitty-gritty details to determine whether or not he warrants a premium price. I recollect paying close to $5 to procure this figurine via eBay. Do I love this figurine? I relish taking a gander at this figurine. Why? I'm an avid devout Yu-Gi-Oh fan. He's a part of the Yu-Gi-Oh action figure line. He has something protruding out of his pelvis. Actually, he's above his pelvis. Sorry about the blunder. He has something protruding out of his back. I'm not sure what it's supposed to represent. Irrespective of this obscure object protruding out of his back, he still has tremendous merit. The figurine is meritorious, he's stellar. Why do I say that? Well, he's adorned with robust, sturdy, state-of-the-art armor that accentuates his defensive capabilities and augments his defensive capabilities. He has spikes protruding out of his shoulder pads. He lacks knee joints, he lacks elbow joints, he lacks a diaphragm joint, he lacks an ankle pivot, he lacks finger joint articulation. His fingers are semi-clenched together. His armor cannot be removed, cannot be extracted, it cannot be detached in any way, shape, or form. What a shame, what a pity, what a bummer. Moving on, he lacks any peg holes. His foot is missing some plastic filling. He lacks his armament. He lacks his blade that he utilizes to sever his adversaries. He's not marred or tainted with any major scuffs or scratches or blemishes or dings or dents. He's practically unscathed. So I believe he was churned out by Mattel in 1996. He may have been produced in 2003. Nearly a decade later, I'm unsure of the exact year he was released. Other than minor scratches, he doesn't have anything else that truly impairs or disconfigures or distorts his appearance, so I can live with it. He has a ratchet in both of his legs. You can even hear it. And of course his articulation is encumbered by the limitations of the ratchets. He can only extend his legs so far forward and so far back. Unlike a DC Universe Classics action figure or Toy Biz Marvel Legends action figure, he has under 20 points of articulation. How many points of articulation will I estimate this figurine to have? Well, he can rotate his foot, so 2 points of articulation there. He could ascend and descend his legs, another 2 points of articulation there. He can rotate his waist. I guess that constitutes as a point of articulation. I'm unsure. I could articulate his waist, right, by swiveling it. So 5 points right there. Then he could ascend and descend his arms, and he could rotate his wrists. 9 points right there, and then he could
I thought he could rotate his head, I guess not. So roughly 9 points of articulation, and if you don't want to deem the waist rotation to be considered a point of articulation, then 8 points of articulation. So 8 to 9 points of articulation. His articulation is relatively scant, and his latitude for articulation is limited. But I'm not going to hone in on the negative facets appertaining to this figurine. I love his armor. He truly emulates the appearance of Buster Blader, as derived from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. The Buster Blader is a character derived from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime that Yami Yugi summons to aid him in battle. He wields a colossal blade that can wreak havoc against his adversaries. I believe he has at least 2,600 attack points. That's what I recollect. I'm unsure whether or not that's correct or not. You can verify that for yourself. You can verify everything for yourself. Always be prudent, always be diligent, always be meticulous. Always be inquisitive. Now I detest the fact that he's missing plastic filling in his right leg. His right leg feels a bit hollow, and the ratchet seems to have loosened. The integrity of the right leg has been a bit compromised. The left leg is significantly sturdier. He doesn't really like he doesn't look like he's been played with too much. I mean, his paint is not really rubbing off. He doesn't have any major scuffs. His scratches are minor, so it doesn't really look like he's been clobbered or pummeled to death or anything like that. This is an action figure of high caliber. Why do I say that? Because for $5 you can't go wrong. Now, he may not have 20 points of articulation. His details may not be on par with action figures that were sculpted by the Four Horsemen Studios Corporation, and he may have depreciated, but he still has tremendous merit. I mean, he's still intact. He's relatively unscathed. His nitty-gritty details, his intricacies, his novelties are just unbelievable. I love his armor. And I truly love how he captures and personifies Buster Blader. He's just a stupendous, meritorious, state-of-the-art figurine. For under $5, I mean, you can't go wrong. And even though he has this unidentified thing protruding out of his back, it doesn't compromise his intrinsic value. I mean, if you're going to be looking at him, he's going to be flaunted on the shelf from the front, not from the back. So I'm going to consign him to one of my shelves. He's going to be oriented upwards, and maybe I can find an armament for him to utilize. I'd actually utilize a pencil for him to wield, or a pair of scissors, but I don't want to stretch out his fingers. It would look a bit uncanny and out of context. This is unprecedented. I'm sure no one has done this before. Buster Blader's wielding a pair of scissors. I guess he can assist me whenever I need to unbox an item. So here's Buster Blader in the limelight. He's a paradigm of perfection. He's a quintessential version of Buster Blader. You can get the 2D version, you can buy the card and roleplay that you have the figure, or you can buy the 3D version and actually procure the Buster Blader figurine that's preordained to disintegrate in the pending future. I need to get more ice, so I love his details. I mean, if you stumble upon him for under $5, you can't go wrong if you're an avid devout Yu-Gi-Oh fan. The Yu-Gi-Oh series is truly engrossing, it's enthralling. I love it, I relish it. It's truly captivating. It's an unforgettable, ineffable experience. I love Exodia, I love Exodia Necros, I love the Egyptian gods, I love the King of Games. Kaiba, his rival, is also epic. Buster Blader is stoic, he shows no trepidation. He has the temerity to charge into the fray battle. You can learn from Buster Blader. I love this inanimate object. So here's Buster Blader once again. Not bad by any means. He's an action figure of high caliber. Today you get a scrawny, measly figurine for over $10. If you don't buy figurines via eBay, if you go to the retail stores, just go to Walmart, or Target, or Myers and see what they have in the action figure aisle or in the toy aisle, and you'll be surprised how the standards have plunged and plummeted post Toy Biz becoming defunct. Everything went awry after Toy Biz became defunct. I'm not saying that it was perfect back then and that it was ideal, but there was a standard and precedent that Toy Biz set, and action figure companies haven't been able to follow or even come close to following, so it's just disappointing. It's disappointing that for $8 today you can't get an action figure with 32 to 40 points of articulation that comes bundled with a comic book and stands roughly 6 to 8 inches tall with intricate details and with ample accessories. I mean, if you want that type of figurine, you may have to pay a hefty, exorbitant premium price of close to $50 to $80. I mean, it's outrageous. But there's some NECA figurines for $20 that have merit. I mean, they're not on par with the Toy Biz Marvel Legends figurines, but they do embody the characters they're supposed to represent, and they do have ample points of articulation. They may lack finger joint articulation, they may lack a comic book, and they may lack an abundance of accessories. Regardless, they still have significant merit because they capture let me revamp that. And they embody characters that we never had action figures of in the past, so you capture the essence of certain characters, rendering them truly unique. They're not just variants of characters that have already been churned out by other corporations in the past, but I hope that another corporation acquires a license to produce Marvel Legends figurines that's not Hasbro. Hasbro has not even met my minimum expectations, but I don't need to dwell on harp on negativity. I don't need to wallow in negativity. I need to move on. So I hope that you love this Buster Blader action figure. He's truly refined. You could give him a new... I was about to say you could give him a new coating and painting if you so choose to. Or you could leave him alone and not tamper or fiddle with the joints. I don't want him to become further compromised. So, he's probably over 2 decades old at this point, because I presume that he was churned out in 1996 as opposed to 2003. So, I'm only half a decade older than him. What a shock, what a surprise, but he has aged better than me, I should say. I hope that you deemed this video to be enthralling and insightful. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Goodbye.